right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Big developments tonight in the legal battle to remove Kim Gardner from office. The win for the Attorney General and the next move for the embattled circuit attorney.
Wicked winds. They're dying down tonight and won't cause problems Wednesday when rain will arrive to ease the threat of blowing dust.
Blinded by the dust.
Visibility was almost zero.
Tonight, we're hearing from those sucked into a storm that caused a 70-car pileup in central Illinois. Just hours ago, we learned a 7th person has died in the crash on I-55. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. For a second day in a row, blowing dust shut down a stretch of the interstate near Vernon, Illinois. That's just south of Springfield. New tonight, our Robert Townsend talked with those who were caught up in the chaotic scene.
It was an unexpected encounter that stopped trucker Nathan Cormier in his tracks.
Well, I saw the storm from further ahead.
He drove down Interstate 55 in Montgomery County, Illinois, Monday in the middle of a powerful dust storm.
Semi and the pickup truck trailer ahead of me, so slowed down and put their hazards on, so I put mine on.
Illinois State Police say around 11 a.m., blowing dust caused complete blackout conditions and triggered a chain reaction crash that involved more than 70 vehicles.
The semi started braking, truck in front of me, went to the right to avoid, I went to the left.
Cormier heading home to nearby Neilwood when he felt the whipping 50-mile-an-hour winds and saw the nonstop thick dust blowing around.
When you first go into it, you can't see, and then it clears up a little bit because you're inside the storm, and you can see like maybe 25, 30 feet in front of you.
The interstate, which had been open and closed a couple of times, finally reopened again to drivers early this evening. At least 7 people were killed in the interstate pileup, several dozen others hurt. Investigators tell us the victims range from 2 to 80 years old. Cormier saw many of them sitting in their cars in the blinding dust. He immediately jumped in to help.
Just got out and started going from car to car to make sure people were okay.
Even a bunch of big rigs sustained extensive damage in the massive crash.
Holy cow. They hit hard.
Neighbor Jeff McKay baffled by dozens of damaged vehicles and saddened by the dust-related disaster that claimed innocent lives.
Can't say anything, just pray for them. That's all we can do.
In Vernon, Illinois.
I've been in smaller ones. I've never seen one this big.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Well, tonight the winds are dying down here in St. Louis. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now to let us know if blowing dust is going to be a problem again tomorrow along I-55.
And the answer we think is no. The winds are going to be substantially lower tomorrow, 2 days in a row of reduced visibilities and big problems with winds around 40 to 45 miles per hour. And this was what we would call a significant dust storm in this area. First time ever that we've had a dust storm warning issued by the National Weather Service for central Illinois. So along the farm fields, which have been freshly tilled and that ground has really dried out, we had those winds gusting around 40 miles per hour. It literally just picked up all that dust, spread it across Interstate 55, causing those hazardous driving conditions, near zero visibility, and it can cause breathing problems as well, but it also resulted in all of those accidents as the visibility quickly goes to near zero. Tonight, the sky has cleared, the wind has died down considerably, and it looks like a couple of quiet days before we finally get some rain back into the picture as we head towards the end of the week. Some badly needed rain as it's become quite dry around here, Mike.
All right, Scott. A heated debate at tonight's St. Louis County Council meeting over a bill that would push all pedestrians to use sidewalks and crosswalks or face consequences. Critics say it unfairly targets the unhoused community, and tonight's meeting wrapped up just about 2 hours ago. Our Laura Barczewski was there, and she joins us now live from Clayton. Laura.
Mike, St. Louis County Councilman Ernie Trachis sponsored this bill in the name of public safety, saying the council needed to do something about the number of crashes involving pedestrians. The council voted 5-2 in favor of perfecting this bill, but the two that didn't agree say that's not really what this is about. Councilman Trachis says his public safety bill is an amendment to current law to clarify where pedestrians should be when walking near or on any road in the county.
If there's a sidewalk, you need to be on it. If there's a crosswalk, you need to be in it. If you have to travel on a roadway, then here's where you have to, what portion of the roadway, meaning the I guess we'll call it the shoulder facing traffic, so that there's a reduction in the ability or the chance that someone could get injured.
Tracus says this measure would allow police officers to ticket any pedestrian who isn't in the defined areas. Think of it like jaywalking.
It would be something similar to that, but that part hasn't changed. Whatever fine would be applicable, that's remaining the same.
County Councilwoman Lisa Clancy says she feels this measure would unfairly target people, for example, the unhoused who are often in medians.
We can't keep criminalizing people who are down on their luck or who are unhoused. These are also our neighbors. And I am really concerned about the consequence that could have, this bill could have on those neighbors as well.
She says this could also be an issue for places where there aren't crosswalks or maybe a sidewalk is blocked.
As a mom who pushes a stroller very frequently on sidewalks, it's not unusual that I have to sometimes go into the roadway because there is an issue on the sidewalk and it's impassable. And if I'm not on the side of the street where I can get to facing oncoming traffic, what would I do?
You would have to go back to a crosswalk that would allow you to cross the street.
Sometimes there's not crosswalks, though.
Well, I would, think that would be a rare instance.
The next step for this measure is they will take it up for final passage at their next meeting, which is on May 9th. Reporting live in Clayton, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Breaking news tonight out of Texas. The 4-day manhunt for the man accused of killing 5 of his neighbors is over. 38-year-old Francisco Oropesa was arrested tonight. Police say he was found hiding in a closet at a home 17 miles from where the murders took place. The victims include a mother and her 9-year-old son. Tonight, a new toxicology report shows Cash App founder and St. Louis native Bob Lee had alcohol, cocaine, and ketamine in his system when he was stabbed to death last month. The San Francisco medical examiner says the 43-year-old died last month from multiple stab wounds, one piercing his heart. Doctors worked for nearly 4 hours to save his life. Today, arraignment and bail hearing for the suspect was postponed again. His attorney argues she hadn't received crucial evidence in time to review it.
Bob Lee's system is like the Walgreens of recreational drugs. He didn't die of a drug overdose. That's not what that's about. But put on your thinking caps. What happens when people take drugs? Generally, they act like drug people. And what do drug people act like? Not themselves.
The prosecutor says the findings doesn't justify Lee's murder. The arraignment has been moved to May 18th.
More charges tonight against the man accused of killing a St. Charles woman and keeping her body in his Maryland Heights apartment for days. According to court documents obtained by 5 on your side, 2 more women have come forward saying they were raped by Joseph DeJoy. One of those alleged crimes happened just a few days before Jackie Mitchell was reported missing. Her body was found inside DeJoy's apartment a week later. He now faces a total of 11 felony charges, including second-degree murder and multiple counts of rape and kidnapping.
New developments tonight in the Attorney General's fight to oust St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner from office. The legal battle will move forward.
But tonight there's a question on which judge will oversee the trial. Our Brent Solomon is here to explain why the most recent judge in the case is stepping aside.
He certainly is. That move comes after Gardner asked Judge John Trubisky to step aside. He agreed, but not before saying the Attorney General has some valid allegations that should take this case to the courtroom. Of Attorney General Andrew Bailey's 10 allegations against Gardner, a judge has decided 7 of those are strong enough to move forward. Those 7 allegations center around claims the top prosecutor is willfully neglecting her duties. But today, the judge said 3 counts that involve Gardner's attempts to void subpoenas of current and former employees. That's not relevant to this case. As the September trial inches closer, Bailey says Gardner is not turning over necessary documents. A SLU law expert believes Gardner knows what she's doing.
Gardner might want this to happen. She might be calling the Attorney General's bluff. Will the Supreme Court of Missouri really order the first black elected prosecutor of St. Louis removed? Probably not. And if they do, that is going to be national news when the governor orders the state troopers down to escort her out of the building.
Today's developments come as there's just one prosecutor left in Gardner's office to handle hundreds of cases. In fact, 5 on Your Side has learned that a dozen trials scheduled over the next 2 weeks are assigned to prosecutors who have all resigned. Question is, does that add fuel to the Attorney General's fight?
This is now a big political street fight. And so I think there are defendants languishing in jail, victims waiting for justice. But that's not what this is about anymore. This is about whether a attorney general can remove an elected circuit attorney. Full stop.
Gardner's office tells us they will keep seeking justice for the people of St. Louis. And while looking for more attorneys, they have a plan to make sure all of their cases are covered. A judge wants to know what that plan is within 2 days.
Just minutes ago, a fundraiser wrapped up for 3 Lake St. Louis police officers seriously injured in the line of duty. Donatelli's Bistro donated 100% of today's proceeds to help with the officers' ongoing recovery. They were hit by a driver back in March. One of those officers, Kyle Case, and his family were there to celebrate his 28th birthday. The owner says they just wanted to show their support.
Lake St. Louis Police Department is right down the street, so they do come in here pretty often, and of course they're always here when we need them.
We're still waiting to hear how much money they raised, but the restaurant owner says the parking lot was full before they even opened up this morning.
A danger on the road accelerating.
Missouri's fatality rate is at the highest it's been in 15 years.
Experts blame distracted driving. Tonight, our I-Team uncovers the state's weak laws and one family's fight to change them. Bud Light Ales. Tonight, the numbers are in. The beer backlash from a social media campaign hurting AB's bottom line.
Transitioning to a warmer pattern, the shower and storm chances that come with this pattern adjustment.
Traffic deaths in Missouri are at a 15-year high. We're one of only 2 states where texting and driving is legal for most behind the wheel.
One family says it's the reason their daughter is dead. The I-Team's Paula Vassan found the driver behind the crash never even got a speeding ticket.
At the Douglas household in O'Fallon, Missouri, butterflies are everywhere.
It's not just every day. It's always been like when we're at a low or if there's something big going on.
You'll probably see one today. He saw one earlier.
They're precious reminders.
She's saying, hey.
Of their daughter, Kendall.
Vivacious, bubbly.
Very generous.
So full of life.
Who loved softball.
She's buried in her coaching uniform.
Children.
She was going to be an elementary school teacher.
And family.
Very protective of her younger brother. They were like best friends.
Until 5 years ago, on Mother's Day.
My last words were, love you, see you later.
Kendall was driving to her apartment here on Interstate 70. An accident blocked her lane, so she came to a stop. She had no place to go. Seconds later, a driver crashed into her at full speed.
Was the person who crashed into and killed your daughter held responsible?
Not at all. Not one iota. Not a speeding ticket.
The police report marked that driver as distracted. 2 witnesses tell us the person behind the wheel was driving around 75 miles an hour with their head down and admitted to texting while driving. There were no consequences, the Douglases say, because there are no laws. Right now, Missouri is one of 2 states that doesn't ban all drivers from texting while driving. New legislation in the state aims to change that. Opponents have historically cited government overreach, similar to pushback on helmet and seatbelt laws. Advocates argue such laws have worked in other states like Georgia, which passed a hands-free driving bill in 2019. Soon after, phone use while driving dropped 22%. Driving deaths went down too.
Missouri's fatality rate is at the highest it's been in 15 years.
Nick Chabario with AAA blames our phone addictions.
You cannot safely multitask behind the wheel.
He says this is why. These dots show serious and deadly injuries in Missouri over the past decade involving distracted drivers. They're statistics until you meet the victims.
I don't have a daughter now.
Who hold onto Mother's Day cards.
She wrote on there, Happy Mother's Day.
Because there won't be another.
I'm so lucky to have you.
Cherishing their vibrant memory.
The decision for Missouri Senate Bill 5661 to be considered and voted on now rests with House Speaker Dean Plocher. We've reached out to him 4 times to ask whether the legislation will move forward before the end of the session in the next couple of weeks. We'll let you know when we get an update. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
More fallout tonight for Bud Light. New data shows sales of the #1 beer brand are down since a controversial partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Sales for the week ending on April 15th were down 17% compared to a year ago. The following week, Bud Light saw another 21% drop in year-to-year sales. According to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal, experts are calling reports of Bud Light's demise greatly exaggerated. 2 marketing executives with Anheuser-Busch have taken leave of absences in the wake of the controversy.
Tonight, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is investigating a COVID outbreak at a CDC conference. The agency confirms at least 35 people contracted the virus while attending the 3-day conference in Atlanta last week. Members of the Epidemic Intelligence Service gathered to share their efforts on improving public health. In just 9 days, the White House will end the COVID public health emergency. May 11th is also the day the Biden administration will drop its COVID-19 vaccine mandate for federal employees, contractors, and healthcare workers. Non-U.S. travelers entering the country will also no longer be required to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Tonight, authorities in Iowa are warning gawkers stay away from a massive sinkhole. Experts believe it's part of a larger problem. The 20-foot deep hole southeast of Des Moines is likely remnants of a former coal mine. There are more than 300 abandoned surface mines in that area. The state is now working to shore all of them up.
Well, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with that weather first forecast. And I guess the good news is the winds will be calming, Scott.
Yeah, the winds have settled down quite a bit tonight. That trend will continue tomorrow. And while it won't completely go away, that wind will still be with us. It won't be gusting anywhere like what we've seen the last couple of days. Those wind gusts, though, have been oriented pretty close to along the runway at Lambert, so not big flight delays because of the winds. And again, we talk about the dust storm that we've had in central Illinois. Today, by the way, if you were driving along Interstate 55 north of Litchfield, you could have heard your phone go off with those alert tones. The wireless emergency alerts were activated today for a dust storm warning, the first ever issued in our area. Basically, you get those strong winds and they're blowing across the dry tilled farm fields or recently planted farm fields, and because it's so dry, that soil is loose. The winds lift that soil and you get the wall of dust and debris that slides right over the interstate and over the roads, creating that extremely hazardous driving, and doing so very quickly, going to near zero visibility in a very short distance. And it also causes breathing and health issues in addition to all the traffic problems we saw yesterday. And of course, the cleanup does continue and the investigation continues into that as well. All caused by that wind coming around this strong storm system in the Great Lakes, a system that brought more than 2 feet of snow to Marquette, Michigan, even brought snow to the mountains of West Virginia, Western Maryland, and into parts of Pennsylvania, while we've enjoyed clear skies here the last couple of days despite the winds. Our next weather system taking shape out to the west. It is going to be a rainmaker. Some badly needed rain for us on the way. Really haven't had any significant rain for about the last 2.5 weeks. Temperatures tonight have dropped back into the 50s, heading into the 40s. A few of us may even slip back into the upper 30s. The winds, well, they've settled down to the west-northwest at 6 miles per hour. Still very dry air, though. The dew point's just 23. We were up to 68 today. We should do a little better than that tomorrow. As far as temperatures overnight, we're waking up to upper 30s and low 40s out the door. Yes, there'll be a northwest breeze tomorrow, but only about 10 to 12 miles per hour. So much quieter. And it stays quiet on Thursday. Clouds will be on the increase by Thursday night into Friday. That active weather from the west starts rolling in. Showers, a few rumbles of thunder here will start to develop overnight Thursday night into Friday. All indications are this keeps moving so that as we head towards Saturday and into Sunday, we get into more of a scattered shower or thunderstorm scenario with some dry time this weekend. But before we get there, some spots may see more than an inch of rain. And with drought conditions back to the west and northwest of St. Louis, that's good news. We need a little more rain. And that's going to be on Friday. So your Cinco de Mayo, a little unsettled. Then we have our chances for showers and storms heading into next week off and on. but also above average temperatures back into the 80s.
All right, Scott, thank you. Frank, what's coming up?
And the Cardinals got a loss, but they did get a patch. Matthew Tkachuk continues to make Chaminade proud. And how do City SC players really like our town anyway? Stick around.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
So forget about investing in blue chip stocks or real estate. The absolute for sure way to make money right now is to simply bet against the Cardinals in the opening game of a series. Actually, bet against them all the time and you would be getting paid in the Escalade. And tonight, the Angels made the Cardinals 0 for 10 in the first game of a series.
Please join us in a moment of silence as we remember the voice of the Cardinals, Mike Shannon.
The Cardinals, of course, remembered the legend tonight. The Angels wasted no time on hitting Steven Matz. Taylor Ward, 3-run cannon in the first, and just like that, Angels led it 4-0. Matz then threw 4 scoreless innings. The Cardinals had something going in the 6th inning, but Nolan Arenado grounds into the 5th double play of the season for him. He's 1 for 20 with runners in scoring position in his last 20 chances. Tyler O'Neill struck out to end the game, final 5-1, the 4th loss in a row for the Cardinals. They are 10-20. Shohei Ohtani gets the ball tomorrow. I'm not sure about the timing of this announcement, but for the first time, the Cardinals have a jersey patch sponsor. It's Stiefel, who also sponsors the Blues helmet. MLB allowed it recently, and the Cardinals are adding another revenue stream, like at least 7 other teams in Major League Baseball.
It's very subtle. I think it will give great exposure. As you guys know, the batter that faces, if it's a right-handed batter, the Stiefel patch will be on the left sleeve. If it's lefty, it's on the right sleeve.
We were aligned because we wanted it to be tasteful yet achieve my business objectives. Now, with respect to negotiating the deal, I mean, Scott Boros might be tough, but Bill is really tough.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
So the Cardinals are not the only team in town who had a losing April. The difference is this. St. Louis City SC got off to such a great start, they can afford to go 1-3-1. They're still in 2nd place. I was at practice today and nobody is worried at all. One of the more famous players on the team is this guy, Tim Parker. He's the 30-year-old defender from New York who authored the team's first ever goal. Parker has been in the league for 8 years. City SC is his 4th team, so he's seen a lot. And almost everything he's seen in St. Louis, he's liked a lot.
I didn't know too much about St. Louis when I signed here. So to have obviously the love from the fans has been incredible. Every home game you're able to feel it. Getting wins, obviously, with this group has been incredible as well. And yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable. I think it's really, really enjoyable to come to work with guys that you want to be here with. And I think that's for me one of the biggest things is, yeah, I mean, just having a lot of fun doing it.
Panthers in Toronto for Game 1 tonight, and Matthew Tkachuk with a nifty move. He will get the assist. Nick Cousins will get the goal, and the Panthers get a 4-2 victory. Matthew with 3 assists tonight. He now has 15 points in 8 playoff games. His dad is loving it. Hey, you've heard of finding more votes after the polls closed? Well, Nielsen has added audience to the Super Bowl. They first reported the total was 113 million who watched the Chiefs beat the Eagles. Upon further review, it's now up to 115 million. And how about this? It makes it now the most watched Super Bowl ever by 1 million. Why should we suspect the NFL of doing anything fishy?
They'd never do that.
Not them.
No. Frank, thanks.
Right.
The Cardinals are adding to their theme night lineup. The fan favorites they're celebrating.
Tonight, Hollywood writers are on strike. The union is pushing for streaming services to pay what broadcast and cable do. The strike is forcing late-night talk shows into reruns. It could also delay the start of the fall television season.
The Jonas Brothers are coming to St. Louis this summer. Nick, Joe, and Kevin will perform at Enterprise Center on August 27th. Tickets go on sale next Friday, May 12th, through Ticketmaster, but verified fans can register now for a special pre-sale.
The Cardinals have added more theme nights to the schedule. August 1st will be Jason Tatum night. The The Boston Celtics superstar and Chaminade grad will meet and greet fans who buy a VIP ticket. And August 14th will be the Cardinals' first Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Night. Fans will get a double bobblehead featuring Tommy Edman in his Team Korea uniform and Lars Nootbaar wearing his Team Japan jersey. A portion of each theme ticket sold will be donated to the Very Asian Foundation. Now, if they could only win a few games.
Right, and the Very Asian Foundation, of course, founded by our own Michelle Lee.
That's right. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis with Michelle Lee and Rennie Knott, beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.